All right, what's up, guys? Recording this podcast from my sunroom in my house, and backyard's behind me. My newborn of 2 weeks old now is next to me. Let's see if I can do this without messing this up. He's right there. So, multitasking at its finest. But wanted to share just on the mission of, for all those who don't know me, I'm going to be sharing a lot of content on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Probably shorter clips on those platforms and then longer clips on YouTube. But I am a married man, um, father of two currently, hoping to add more to that flock. And I own a gym in Colleyville or slash Hurst, Texas. Um, I'm also an avid runner. Despite this body you see, I'm an avid runner and I'm an avid bodybuilder as well. I'm a natural pro bodybuilder for three different organizations as of 2021. And I'm recording this podcast in 2023, towards the mid all of that time. Um, I've titled this particular podcast or video cast, why I am kind of not doing bodybuilding anymore. Um, I did in 2021. I ran a marathon in April or late March, full 26.2 miles, and then immediately went into uh, kind of pre-contest mode starting in mid-April. It's also coincidentally when the time that I started dating my wife. So started dating her at that time and made it very clear. If you can ask her, um, our first date was a business interview, and I had a salad. She had fried chicken sliders. I had a salad, and to get ready for bodybuilding season, to get ready for this new challenge that I was taking. And this year, 2021, was kind of a fitness challenge oriented year. I did something I didn't want to do, running a marathon. I was curious to see how bodybuilding would go. Um, and so it took me from that moment that we started dating. I never ate a meal at her mom's house the entire time we were dating, almost until we got married, basically, because I was in contest prep for so long, from literally April to December. I think after December was the first time I ate a meal at her house. I always carried Tupperware or something else over to her house. And so she saw me, she supported me through that time where you have to be extremely selfish in bodybuilding. And your meals are planned, your workouts. I was working out twice a day. Now, mind you, working out twice a day, uh, new relationship, business. It was also coaching, a personal training certification, coaching classes, personal training clients, running the operations of the business, running the financials, the accounting, balancing the books, all that stuff. Prepping food, going to the grocery store, all this stuff, all the time. And so that was, from April to December, so 8 months, of that. And planning vacations, miniature vacations in between there, getting to know each other, all this stuff happened within a short amount of time. And for me, the love of it, I hated bodybuilding at first. The way it made me feel, the fear that it gave me, um, the feeling of failure that I was going to show up in these little skivvy underwears and be embarrassed uh, because I didn't get lean enough. All of those fears and trying to outwork the problem and overworking and all of these emotions and things came up, but I figured so much about myself. But the thing about bodybuilding, and many people have said this, but it is all encompassing. You have to put every single bit of it. It is 24/7, 365 into that profession. And I mean it. I mean, my sleep, I went to bed at 9 o'clock or 9:30 every night. And this is specifically after my first show, because my first show, I only slept 5, 6 hours. And it took forever for my body to get lean enough. I dropped extreme amount of calories. I was always depleted on energy. I was still nice to people. I just wasn't as peppy, not energy laden with the hands and gestures and etc. I was reserved, I had enough energy to get up the stairs. I had to, that every single thing was every meal of that day I truly enjoyed. Like I needed quiet. Like it's hard to express how I was during that first prep, as I was getting ready for the first show, but it was all encompassing. It was for sure about me. And it has to be in order for you to be successful. You cannot have a bunch of other things that you're trying to do at the same time. I heard this quote, and I can't tell you who specifically told me, but they said, you can do anything that you want in life, but you can't do it all at once. And I was like, and me being a young 20 something or 19 something, I was in this group, I was doing these activities, I was doing over here. I had no responsibilities. I had no, and that was very similar to bodybuilding, the courting of a relationship, the managing a business, to making sure my clients are happy, giving them the best service possible. And doing it on very, very little energy was difficult. It was extremely difficult, and I could tell you that I had to like physically pray before I personally trained somebody or before I coached classes, and because it took that much energy. Um, Somebody's calling me right now mid podcast because I didn't turn this off. Let's see who it is. Maybe I'll edit this out. Yeah, it's a scam. Um, so there was difficult. There was a lot of difficult times and difficult circumstances and difficult things. Um, but this led me into, you know, in between meals, everything needed to be about my timing and my schedule. If we were going to go somewhere, I needed to know how much time we had between each meal. I needed to know how much, if we were going to go somewhere for dinner, I would bring food to the dinner. I didn't, we went to Babe's Chicken, which is a local chicken chain here, and it's family style. So it's family style fried chicken, family style mashed potatoes, green beans, corn, you name it. I didn't need a thing there. I'd bring my own salad. I'd bring my own chicken. I'd bring everything and drink water there. And for a time, that's accepted because of the goal that is being requested of you and being asked of you. But that time, as much as I enjoyed it, and I did, I mean, after the first show, I got my pro card, won overall, um, got the bug, and I was like, I love suffering. Let's suffer some more. And so for 3 more shows, I did that and won overall 3 out of 4 shows, and was already setting my sights on what was next. What was going to be the next adventure? What was going to be the next thing? And meanwhile, my body needed a rest. I had pushed it as far as I could have pushed it. Because of the drastic caloric restriction, I lost a lot of muscle mass in the process for a lot of overworking things. So I learned a lot. So I knew for the next year or so, it made sense for me to completely take it off, to put on some weight, to rebuild some muscle. And then, really, as much as I loved running, stop running and focus all of my endeavors on getting as muscular and as big as possible. And I did that. So my last show, I weighed right around 197, 198, okay, at 5 to 6% body fat. And by the time of 1 year from there, I weighed almost 250 and at about 16% body fat. So quite a big swing in weight. All I was doing was lifting heavy, eating big, doing the minimal amount of cardio possible to stay relatively lean. As of this video, I am 246 and about that 16% mark, somewhere in there. And I'm getting ready for summer shred because, as I said before at the beginning of this video, I am not doing bodybuilding, at least for the foreseeable future. And here's why. My family needs me more than I need bodybuilding. The coming forth of my second child and my sons, because our kids are at a big gap. My oldest is 13, or excuse me, about to be 13 in June, and my youngest is 2 weeks old. So with what my wife needs, with what my business needs, with what my kids need, it is bigger than what bodybuilding alone could provide me. Now, bodybuilding did teach me extreme discipline, extreme discomfort, extreme delayed gratification. It taught me being comfortable in the uncomfortable, fighting through things. It taught me that it teaches you how your own choices put you in tough situations and how it doesn't matter. And how, because it doesn't matter, you have to be tough and you have to push through these circumstances and these things anyway. Greatest lesson, and if you ask me, I don't consider it a sport per se because it's too subjective, but it is the toughest thing out there. It is all encompassing. It is 24/7, 365. It doesn't end. It doesn't stop. It only gets intensive. It's a constant mind battle. It wages war in your mind. Every single singular decision must be filtered and measured through what the goal is and why that goal is. And when you get hungry and you can't think and you have to put your sentences together, and all of these things happen in the course of trying to meet a date and a deadline, not to mention that you must be on stage at your most depleted, acting as if you are full of energy and full of joy when you're not. And I can tell you, I was at my least healthiest on stage, which sounds crazy. You think that the people that are bodybuilding on stage are going to be the healthiest people there is. No, it is the exact opposite. I can tell you some of the weirdest things. It hurt to wear jeans. I had so little body fat that if I sat in a particular chair, the pleats in the jeans, the creases in the jeans where the seams met, hurt my butt. And it felt like I couldn't lay down on a mat. It hurt my low back and my butt area. My feet hurt because there was almost no fat pad under my feet. If I lifted too heavy, I would for sure injure something. Was lifting very, very light weights at the end. Going up the stairs was excruciatingly laboring. Every 2 hours at night, I would wake up because my body was just telling me you need to eat. I'd pee 10, 15, 20 times a day. I would constantly forget what I was going to say. I had to have help to do almost everything. Come towards my first show, and I could probably find this video and put it in here, but I had to get my back. Part of your pre-prep contest stuff, especially during peak week, which is the week before the contest, you need to shave your body, exfoliate every day because it needs to receive a tan or receive the tan better. And I had to have help exfoliating, shaving, remembering when my meals were. I couldn't remember when I last ate. It's just a crazy, crazy, crazy sport, crazy, crazy endeavor, crazy challenge. And When you start a contest, pre-contest, you are doing it for 16 to 20 weeks. Now, I'm a natural athlete, which means I don't take any exogenous hormones or any performance enhancing drugs. You could have, creatine or some glutamine or branched chain amino acids, vitamin oriented supplements and things like that. But other than that, so getting to pre-contest, you have to be very strategic about what you do because the chance of muscle mass loss is even greater. And so the thought of what I'd have to put my family through in order for me to receive a plastic trophy. And it was never, of course, it was never about the trophy or anything like that. It was completely about the journey and about pushing oneself to a new level. But that's just not the season of life that I'm in anymore. And my wife and I had this talk as soon as we knew that the baby was going to be, as soon as she was pregnant, which is another story for another time. But she was adamant that I needed to compete. And I was on the fence about it because I knew how much it would take. And I knew how much my family needed me more than I needed bodybuilding or more than I needed a contest. And so for that time, I kind of gave it up. And what really signified it for me was just the pending or current construction that the business is going under right now and reevaluating my priorities for the next 5 to 10 years and what I imagine our family doing in the next 5 to 10 years, especially with the advent of young Cameron over here and Tatum and what they're going to be going through the next several years. Who do they what how can I make sure my first priority is to make sure my family is taken care of? Yes, I must make sure myself is taken care of, but bodybuilding doesn't define me. Sports and all these things don't define me, but being the best version of me defines me. And if I'm the best version of me, which means the one that can be the most present, the one that can be the most attentive, that can help my son out in his sports as he's growing up and wants to be great at basketball, and being the best husband for my wife, who she needs my energy and she needs to make sure that she's cared for and loved and know that she's loved and appreciated. Can I do that and do bodybuilding at the same time? And the answer is no. So in a lot of ways, it was a very, very easy decision. Do I get the itch? Yes. I still vicariously follow people on Instagram who are bodybuilding and who are doing contests. And I can remember, and as I'm closing my eyes, I can remember the pain of doing another cardio session and getting on the elliptical and saying, you're going to go for 15 minutes because I couldn't convince myself to go for an hour. And then I got to 15 minutes. I was like, oh, you can do 5 more minutes. And I keep that conversation going until I got to an hour. And I can remember those times. And you talk about how crazy that feels, but I'm telling you, it's addicting because when you win like that, you want to win in every single area. And it does. It helps you win in every single area. But for me, bodybuilding, unless the Lord provides a certain season of time, I'm hanging it up. And I don't know if I, unfortunately, will ever get to pick it up again. But I can tell you it was a fun season while it lasted. And for anybody out there who is curious about bodybuilding or nutrition or trying to live a healthy lifestyle, uh, give me a follow. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate your support. I will be uploading videos on a regular basis and we'll be providing information on recipes and things that I've done to maintain a healthy lifestyle, how I've gone from 270 pounds and almost 30% body fat to in a year, from that point to being 228 pounds at the time of my marathon, 228 pounds and less than 12% body fat, and how to gain muscle and lose body fat at the same time. For you men out there who are over 30 years old and are feeling the effects of low testosterone, or you ladies out there who are feeling the effects of hormones and imbalances and these things, love for you to give me a follow as I work with many individuals who are struggling with the same thing on a regular basis. I would say that I'm a fat loss expert on how to lose fat and how to build muscle at the same time, which is less than what, less than 10% or 5% or whatever of the population can do at the same time. And so if you have questions or want information, I would gladly love to give it to you. If you want to see different videos on recipes and things to do in short amount of time, I will be covering everything from meal prep, how to meal prep in an hour, and just different options and different things like that. But appreciate you. I'm Kadimah. And until next time, see ya.